love to travel, and I've always wanted to visit the Holy Land. Good Lord willing, my dad and I will spend 14 days traveling Jordan and Israel in May of this year. For that reason, I was eager to research the rich history and culture of Israel. Today, I'm going to share with you what I've learned about the significance of this country, along with the history and culture of the people who call Israel home. In addition to my research of reference material, I've learned much from my mother who has visited there once before. First, I'm going to tell you about the information of Israel itself. Second, I'm going to tell you about the culture of Israel. And lastly, I'm going to touch on the unique communication behaviors. The Jewish people consider Israel their ancestral home, the Promised Land. For hundreds of years, the Israeli people, referred to as Jews or Hebrews, have fought for what they believe is their God-given land. According to the Bible, in Genesis, the nation was established by a covenant with Abraham. Israel is central to the conflict that we see in the Middle East. Prior to World War I and World War II, the Jewish people were prosecuted and driven multiple times from their Promised Land and scattered throughout the world. In 1917, the Balfour Declaration established British support for a national home for the Jewish people. Prior to 1948, the land that we know as Israel was simply known as Palestine. The decision to divide the land resulted in Arab and Israeli conflict that we see today. In 1948, modern-day Israel was established. In his book, Israel, A Concise History of a Nation Reborn, Daniel Gordis documents the journey of the Israeli nation. For the people of the region, political and physical conflict is unfortunately a routine part of modern daily life. As I understand it, I can expect to see teenagers carrying military weapons in plain sight on every corner. National military service is required of all Israeli citizens over the age of 18. Jerusalem is the capital of modern-day Israel and most recently the home of the American Embassy. Israel is about the size of New Jersey, both geographically and population-wise. According to the United States Intelligence Agency Factbook, the population is approximately comprised of 8 million people. The majority of the residents identify as Jews, 74%, the remainder being Muslim, 17%, and the rest with Christian and others at 6%. So next, let me share a little economic news about the country. They have a GDP, that's a gross domestic product index, of $316.5 billion at a 3.3% growth rate each year. Their primary exports are cut diamonds, high technology equipment, and pharmaceuticals. Due to the low number of countries that are willing to trade with Israel, their trade agreements are extremely limited. So that was a very quick and dirty history of Israel. There is much more information and details that are worth studying, but I will not share today. Being said, let's move on to one of my favorite parts of daily life, eating. The defining dish of the country is hummus and falafels. Hummus is a dip or spread made of mashed chickpeas with all kinds of flavorful spices. Falafels are also mashed chickpeas, but they are deep fried and often served with pita bread. Next, we have a favorite that is called mixed grill, which is grilled beef, chicken, and lamb, prepared with also flavorful seasonings and olive oil. Olive oil is a staple of the Israeli diet. Additionally, the wood of the olive tree is used to make kitchenware, nativity sets, and other things such as carvings. My mother brought home several Christmas ornaments made from the olive tree wood as gifts, and I look forward to doing my own shopping there in May. In his book, Gordis describes the favorite Israeli pastime of music and dance, specifically folk songs and dancing. The dances are choreographed and the songs are often sung in Hebrew. Next and lastly, the people of Israel are very hospitable. They often greet each other with kisses and handshakes. According to the Israeli news, 3.6 million tourists visit each year. The tourists are welcome and contribute financially to the local economy. The number of visitors are a bit surprising to me because of the adversarial political and religious relationships of the region. It would seem the high state of alert would be unsettling for visitors, and I won't lie, considering the most recent events in Iraq and the Iranian threats toward the U.S. and Israel, I am a little hesitant, but not enough to cancel my trip. So in conclusion, we now know a little bit about the history of the Jewish homeland. Our appetites are now stimulated with the thoughts of hummus and falafel hors d'oeuvres, followed by a scrumptious Israeli mixed grill and a rousing folk dance. And finally, we briefly touched on the economy and communications behaviors. I'm so excited for my trip and excited to compare it with my mom's. Thank you.